Well, we are right here at this 3132 area where we saw a significant cross trade in the A period that brought us down back toward the lows. We'll look for an opportunity here. We see the 26 to 12, 13, 24 in the pullback column. We have a positive pullback column. It would be nice to see that negative, but if it's a cross trade, that's passive. We need to see them hit the bid a bit. We're definitely looking for an opportunity up here, though. See if it retests that area up there. That 6,000 cross trade and all those other that block of high volume was between 32 and 33.75. So we could see a push up here above the 32 and try to breach the 33.75, but that 6,600 contract was right at 32.50, and then the block of trade was between 32.50 and 33.50, and then the period before that was again 32 to 33. So if we get a retest back up here, we're not short yet. But if we get a retest, where's my cursor? I can't get my cursor in the box here. All right, there's the cursor. If we get a retest of this area after coming off, whatever it comes down to here, maybe 28, and then bounces back up to the 31s and only has a few hundred contracts, we'll get short here then. That's a little bit different than what I was doing in January and early February when we had those couple of significant losses. We were getting short immediately or long immediately when we saw the cross trade occur, and many times I saw the market come back, retest just a little bit higher or equal, but with a lot less volume. Instead of 3,000 to 1,600 and 2,000 to 1,600 and so on and so forth, it would come back 500 to 200 or something like that. And many times that was a second opportunity, and many times that was a better opportunity. Because sometimes when it came back to test it, it would, go right past that. It would have just as much volume before you know they were, continuing the market in the same direction. So, having said that, we're going to pause the video for a second and see if we can't get in here. One thing I will say is this column here with a positive, even though that could be passive, with a positive delta, this column certainly was negative, and that's a wash there. So, I'm trying to be patient and get the best location I can, but I'm starting to lose a little faith that we're going to get past this. We're going to take the 30 and a quarters short to 30 and a quarters. Of course, our first target is a point and a half below at 28.75, and once we get to 28.75, then we'll put our stop in 2 points above 30.25, which is 32.25, just above that 404 area there. We still don't have a clear stop strategy if the market bounces back and we don't get filled. With two contracts, each point's $100, so I'm thinking a 5-point strategy, although I hate hard stops. I like to remain flexible, but we've caught some really big losses, and it's a lot of work getting those losses back when you're only getting small profits. So even though I'm hesitant, I think what I'm going to do is put a 5-point hard stop in if we don't get filled on our first contract, and that's with two contracts, 5 points is $500 loss. That's easier to make up than $2,000 loss, or $1,000 loss, or $1,200 or $1,500 loss. So that's what I'm going to do. 5 points above our entry, if not filled on the first contract, we'll exit both positions at 5 points, and we'll try to refrain from doubling up during the remainder of this month. And of course, if we do get filled on the first contract, say here at 28.75, then our stop will again be hard, but it will be 2 points above our entry, and that will then give us the opportunity to enjoy a larger target rotation maybe even above 5 points, say 8 points or 10 points, and only risk 3/4 of a point, half a point, because we already took the first half, a point and a half on our first contract. So if we put our stop 2 points above that, then we're in good shape. We never got filled on the 28.75s here, unfortunately, so we could find ourselves fulfilling our comment there of a 5-point hard stop. Hopefully that's not the case. I'm still in a quandary, though. If we do find our market moving up toward that 5-point stop, and all of a sudden we see cross trade at 5 points, what do you do? Well, in that case, I would probably say, hey, the hell with the 5-point stop and double up. A lot of conflicting natures in this business, isn't there? Simply because, you know, the probability at that point is that's probably a short-term high. And if that's the case, if you do throw your stop strategy out the window and you do double up and the market does come back, I think it's really, 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 really important to have and understand your break even on all the contracts, all 4 contracts or 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever it is, and to get out and break even. And even if the market continues in your direction, tell yourself, yeah, you're right, because at that point you didn't know that, and there's always opportunity. So I like that proposal. I think that's what I'm going to implement, and try to use that over a period of time and see how it works. So we're going to pause the video here and see if we can get our 28.75, put our stop 2 points above, or conversely get stopped out at 5 points above at 35.25, keeping an eye on any cross trade or any other market areas that would be significant. Keeping that in mind, the 8-period high is 33.75, so if we did breach the 8-period high, the Globex high is 36.75, which is actually above our 5-point target. And if they took it a point or so above the Globex high, 37, then I would have already been stopped out. And you know, if at that point there's good cross trade, then we'll have to get back in at whatever price the market allows, whether it's 35, 36, 37, 33, whatever. No big deal. So that's what we're going to do. Also, while we're here in this price level, might as well talk about this. See, last time we were just talking about that, how 3,000 wasn't the stopping point. Look at the volume now coming in. We're going to probably get stopped out here. 1,000, 1,300, 1,200, 224. Now this could actually be passive selling, just like this was passive selling to a degree that brought us down a couple points. Didn't bring us down enough to get our fill, since we got filled at 30.25. But anyway, that being said, that was the case, and here we go above that. So my guess, my gut is probably now that we're going to test the 8-period high at 33.75, and maybe even go over that a couple points. They can easily take the stops out through the 34s up into the 35s. So that 30.25 price location is not the best. But we have our strategy. We have our stop strategy at 5 points. We know what to look for, and we'll implement it. Can't find my cursor. There it is. Well, we stopped at the 33.50. We see the 2100 to 14 to 14 was enough cross trade to temporarily stop the market. The question is, I don't particularly like the fact that, excuse me, this cross trade at the previous area. Well, actually, that's not right. This whole area from this point, the 31s up to the 33s, was the area in the 8 period that we found selling. It wasn't just one price level. It was a couple price levels. Like I say, let me go back to that chart and just confirm. It was from 30, yeah, you might say from 31.75 up to 33.25. So that certainly fits the range, 31.75 to 33.25. So I feel comfortable with this trade. 30.25 is our entry. So we're going to stand tight. We only have about another minute in this video allocated, so we'll pause it and wait for one or the other to happen. Either our target hit first, target at 28.75, and then we'll put our stop in and wait for our second target. I will say, certainly it takes a lot more patience not to better your position. If we would have bettered the position up at the 32.75s, we would have been filled. I'm trying not to do that, although it's still in my mind, so it takes a little bit of mental effort to get that out of my mind to implement this new strategy. So I'm trying not to talk about it. Alright, there's our fill at 28.75, so our stop now is 2 points above at 32 and a quarter. Since our day is also less of a range, we're going to target 5 points. There's our stop hit after consolidating in the 20, we're in the F period, then 27 to 28, we got stopped out on a little run up here. We'll produce this video and look for another opportunity.